What I'm getting for you here is I feel like family demands will be a little bit emotionally taxing for this month. And what that denotes is I feel like for many of you, you try to make nice and you try to, play the harmonizer or at least kind of like help other people troubleshoot whatever it is they're going through. And so I do see family members coming out of the woodwork with their own emotional problems or with, it's sort of like falling out and disagreements overall when it comes to family members. And even then you try to, let's agree to disagree and let's try to just maintain the harmony within that relationship with family members. And I also feel as if the people that you're dealing with in the family unit, they're not as able to do that as you are. And so one thing that you want to be careful for this month is to really understand that sometimes people are not ready to hear what you have to say. They're not, they're coming to you kind of hoping to vent rather than hoping to get practical solutions to their problems, which you're very good at delivering. But if they're not ready to hear it, if they get defensive, it is really important to know who you're dealing with. And if that behaviors comes out from them when you try to give your input, it's better to just, stay mum. It's better to not give any type of advice at all, mainly because they're not ready to hear it and they might get defensive, they might get offended, or they might just, it's like, falling on deaf ears. So you can talk to your blue in the face. They're just not ready for those messages. I'm feeling for many of you as well, financially, I'm sensing that things are going really well for you guys. I see a lot of people doing two gigs, like two sources of income or at least multiple sources of income. So for example, you might be working on a commission basis as well. So you have your main job and then you have a bonus that's coming through, or you have, a commission scale, a bonus through commission that's coming through. So it's almost like two sources of income, or literally two jobs that you are doing, like a main job and a side gig on the side. And as a result of it, money will be coming in plentifully. Whatever was held up in the past, like money, compensation, whatever has been, held up, I feel like for this month, it is coming through in a very fruitful way. So the wait is definitely worth it, I'm sensing. They mentioned dealing with a lot of temperamental people in your work environment. And so, you're usually even tempered and you might come to work and a coworker is just really irate, really ornery one day. And then they're like chirpy, happy-go-lucky the next. And you're just like, I don't know how, they can be so inconsistent from one day to the next. I'm also feeling as well a very, very overindulgent type of a boss, somebody that is doesn't take care of his or her practical responsibilities, and as a result, you have to remind them multiple times to do specific things, or you have to, cater to their whims, cater to the direction of the workflow, which is not as productive and as efficient as you would like. So that's just something to keep an eye out for. Don't lose your temper. Communicate in a way that allows you to, just to take care of whatever you can at the present moment, because I feel like a lot of hang-ups, a lot of reliance on people that might not be entirely responsible. They're temperamental, they're fickle. They might be a little bit on the overindulgent side, not where they're supposed to be, and not able to, it's like you're not able to count on them when it matters, okay? I also feel, well, this is interesting. So, you have two cards I feel that Aquarius have. You have the same combination of cards that Aquarius have. And then I'm also feeling for others of you, students in particular, okay? I see like there's a massive influx of money coming through for this month. Some of you might be receiving, either financial aid, scholarship, students out there, money coming through from an institution. It is there for a specific reason. So that means don't spend it all in one place. Save up for a rainy day. Don't make any extravagant purchases just yet. We are still in the midst of a Mercury retrograde cycle that's going to be ending on the 5th, but the effect still lingers for another 2 weeks. So I want you to be a little bit careful You've got 3 cards that Aquarius have. I want you to be a little bit careful as to where you are putting your money, whether or not it's safe, and being careful about, like offering, giving money, especially a loan, or somebody like giving a loan to somebody. I feel like somebody far away from you, possibly in another country, in another state, somebody that is coming to you needing your financial resources because they see that you are abundant. So be very careful about misplacing your money, where your money is going. And I also feel for many of you, this is a big month where you need to keep a very strong rein on your financial situation, okay? So the last message that I want to end on here, on a note here, is so we talked about family members making demands. We talked about temperamental people that you're working with. We're talking about the finances that you need to, rein in on. Save up for a rainy day. Don't be too extravagant when it comes to spending. And the last thing that I want to touch upon is I feel that many of you, there is a major relationship that is coming to an end. And I also feel like the relationship has been struggling and straggling for quite some time. So this is not something that's, coming to you as a surprise. It's something where you have been thinking about for a really long time. You're trying to sort out financially how it's going to be for you, how it's going to be for them at the end of that relationship. And so I feel like this is the month where things are finalized and wrapped up, okay? So once again, you have 3 cards here. Actually 4. You have 4 cards here that are the same as Aquarius. And keep in mind, I clear out my deck and might have very strong Aquarian traits in your chart, or you are heavily involved with an Aquarius. I'm seeing for this energy. So let me just talk about financially, because I feel like that's really important to you. We have here the 10 of Pentacles, reducing to a 5 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles basically indicates, family assets, things that are built up over time, purchases, joint items, housing situation as well. And this is something that, you've worked really hard at securing. And I feel like you might be involved in a situation with somebody where the financial inflow, the financial give and take has been very, very lopsided. So one person was doing all the contribution to this financial estate or situation, and the other person kind of, kicks up their feet, takes it for granted. And I feel like there is a lot of arguments when it comes to your partner over how money is being spent, how money is being split up, who's contributing what, and if we were to kind of like divide up our assets, who's getting what and what is supposed to happen for each person. From a 10 being reduced to a 5, it's assets being cut in half. So I feel for many of you, this is, finalizing a divorce, finalizing a contract, being a single bachelor, once again, with this Magician card. And also, they mention the end of a very problematic situation. This is pretty much the end of a situation where things have been a little bit hurtful, where there has been accusations and things like that thrown around between relationship partner. And we also have as well the 7 of Swords. And in the reverse, so this is like, finding out that somebody's squirreling away money, finding out some things that people are kind of keeping hidden from you. I feel that you are heavily either dealing with another earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, that you are sharing assets with, or another air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. We have fire signs too, but I feel like it's in a different position and placement. So we have some relationships here, relationship turbulence and relationship troubles, but I feel like for the way the cards first. The second thing coming into the picture here is I mentioned the family squabbles. So the 10 of Pentacles usually indicates, family, people all crammed up together, people living together, people like generations under the same roof. And it can be a source of stability because, you are as an earth sign, you're very home oriented. But when there are too many people in an environment, too many people, too many egos at work, too many people involved in a situation offering their input, offering their advice, I feel like it can feel very combative. Everyone might be drawing from the same pot of money or might be sharing resources, and people do not agree on, which direction to take with the money, how to invest, who's contributing what. So there's a lot of strife here as it relates to family, as it relates to financially, who's doing their fair share, and whether or not responsibilities are being upheld in the family. I feel for many of you, I've been seeing this for quite some time, you're getting kind of frustrated, okay? And you're just like, you're starting to realize for this month, I need to be on my own. I need to be self-reliant. I need to start making contingency plans or, at least branching out on my own. And I also feel for others of you, this is a card greatly about trying to manifest the wealth that you want, working really hard to manifest the wealth so that you can secure and have the life that you want. And I also feel for many of you, this is kind of like covering your bases. So even if you are in the midst of, some legal issues as it relates to money, or even if you are in the midst of trying to build up something from scratch, because it feels to me like a financial foundation has been crumbling down, something you thought you could rely on. I feel like it's taking a lot longer than you would expect. And so right off the bat, I'm sensing that you're trying to formulate plans. You're trying to have like a blueprint. You're trying to create some guidelines for yourself so that you can go about something completely on your own. So this is like not relying on the other people anymore, knowing that they're not holding up their end of the bargain, and especially knowing that they might behave in a way that is a little bit unscrupulous, honestly. So you're going to cover your assets. So that means branching off on your own, moving forward on your own, and doing exactly what you're going to do because you feel the need to be completely self-reliant for this month. You feel the need to kind of draw back your energy, focus on yourself, and focus on the things that you can manifest rather than dumping your energy in other avenues and other people that might not follow through on their fair share of the work. Okay, not doing the work, not contributing, not reciprocating, and like just taking your energy for granted. So that's what I feel is coming through. They mention in the work front there might be squabbles and disputes as well, as it relates to like coworkers, people who are very temperamental. One day they're like this, the next they're like that. So I do feel an emotional flux, like an emotional up and down with the people that are in your environment. They're not completely 100% honest, and I feel like a big part of you knows that, hey, they're not telling me the whole story, or they're leaving out little details here and there. They're not being honest and they're not being clear, but I feel like you don't really feel like you have proof. But this is the month where proof is going to be coming through, like confirmation, proof, evidence comes through, where you're no longer left in the dark wondering like, is there more pieces to the puzzle? Are there more information that's being hidden? I feel like you're going to come into a place where you're cutting through this fog and you're seeing a situation for what it is. I feel for many of you in your current work environment right now, some things have to change. So first of all, the Sun card, this is a card about success. This is a card about your professional image, your professional standing, and whether or not you feel appreciated and whether or not you feel as if the work is worth it anymore. With the Sun in the reverse position, it's pointing out to a situation where you have to really assess the long-term viability of the current place where you are working. So I feel for many of you, the work environment itself, it seems like there's a lot of money floating around, money to buy new equipment, money for bonuses, money to pay you for commission, money to hire new people, money to expand the business. But for whatever reason, I feel like money might be mismanaged. And as a result of it, you might be in an environment where equipment is really falling apart and things are not getting replaced. Where there might be, software, technology malfunction all the time. And it's really frustrating because it cuts into your workflow. So on the one hand, You're amped up, ready to go. On the other hand, we have all of these logistical blockages left and right, and seems like management or the people in charge are not reinvesting that money back into the organization, the company, to facilitate and ease the workflow for you. And then I feel like for other people, in a work environment where there are constant ego clashes when it comes to people who are in charge, they don't care about the longevity of the work. They don't, it's almost like their heart is in the wrong place. They're nowhere to be seen when things go awry. And I feel like overall, this is a combative energy that indicates malalignment when it comes to values, when it comes to ambition, when it comes to drive, when it comes to creative differences between you and possibly upper management. So you really have to understand, are you in this job for job security? Do you see yourself there long term? If those are questions that you're beginning to ask, I feel like you need to make a change. You need to move away from it and not hold yourself restrictive to it for whatever reason. I feel like many of you are in an environment where you're waiting for a new opportunity before you leave, which is smart. And that's something that, a lot of earth signs do in general. You're just waiting for plan B, waiting for a contingency plan, or, you'd want to transition seamlessly from one thing to the next, which is a very practical, pragmatic way to go. But I do feel in this environment, you might want to be careful that, if the company, for example, they mention like, if you're working in a company, if you're working in the more in like a larger company, I feel like they are hyping up their assets, they're hyping up their value, they're inflating how much money is coming in. On the one hand, in the public image, they might present, this idea, oh, we're expanding, we're opening up a new branch, we are introducing a new line of product, but at the foundation of it, they might in fact be losing out on money. They might in fact be covering deficits, and they're publicizing themselves as this, but reality is like this. So if that is the case, I feel like you need to look elsewhere. Start to look elsewhere for work, because I don't feel like it's entirely stable. Okay, so this reading, I feel, is heavily dependent upon big relationships here that are shifting, as well as a big company, a big work environment that is shifting. A new project will be in the picture for you. So if you have undertaken something recently, I feel like the reality of it is dawning in. People are not really cooperating. Every man is for himself. Every man, every woman is for himself. So it's really hard for you to be in this type of environment and feel job satisfaction. It's not so much about job security. It's more like you want the environment to be harmonious. You want people to work together. You want to be able to trust your coworkers and trust your boss that they're doing their end of the bargain to take care of you, in case things go awry. And this is the month where things do go awry in the work environment, and the people that you're supposed to count on, they're nowhere to be found. So I feel like there's going to be frustration. I feel like there is going to be a lot of steps along, like snags along the way. It is a very busy month, but it seems like things are not falling into place exactly the way that you want. So it takes twice as hard to push things through because of other people's agenda. They don't want to cooperate. They want to, do it themselves as well. So I feel like that's going to be the mentality that you yourself need to adopt. Do it for yourself, be self-reliant, and especially, do what you can, because relying on other people who are operating from a space of ego, it's going to be a little bit frustrating, okay? So I'm sorry about that, Taurus. Let me move into your relationship situation and see what's going on here. So, love, relationships, and romance for Taurian people. Love, romance, and relationship for Taurian people for the month So once again, really strong Aquarian vibe coming through in this spread. So you might be dealing with an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I also see a Leo here coming into the picture. Let me pull out an extra card for you guys. Okay, so let me talk about the crowning energy, something that you are thinking about. So first of all, we have here the Star, and we have here the King of Swords. This is an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra that you are heavily dealing with, thinking about, and possibly there's a lot of communication between you and this person. So if we're talking about an Aquarius, so the Star represents, Aquarius people. You are dealing with somebody that is very, very, very sharp, very intelligent, very logical. They're so logical sometimes that it's really hard for them to just, come back down to earth and look at a situation in a more pragmatic, in a more practical manner. This is somebody that I feel you have a lot of admiration for because they're really intelligent. They're very honest with you. They're very straightforward. And I feel like they say like they wear the pants in the relationship. They make a lot of executive decisions. They make a lot of suggestions. Let's go here. Let's go there. Let's do this. And I feel, like they really help you come out of your shell because it's like they're presenting a different viewpoint, a different world view as to what your life could be like. And so I feel like this person is breaking you out of your comfort zone somewhat because, their nature is very exciting, very different. They have also provided you with a lot of stability as well. They provide inspiration. So they might be in the creative field somehow. They provide inspiration for you. I feel like they nurture you and they also foster your skills. So, they might encourage you, oh, you should finish that book. You're a really good writer. Or I really like the way you do this because you're very good at it. Or you're very detail oriented. Like, I feel like there's a lot of admiration, a lot of love, and a very deep rooted sense of friendship between this union between you and Aquarius. If you are dealing with an Aquarius or specifically an air sign, there's a lot of inspiration. There's a lot of admiration mutually for one another. They are very different from you, so at times there will be a lot of friction because I feel like this air sign is very, very, very independent. And so they might not be ready to settle down into any type of a solid relationship. They're also coming into a lot of great luck here because the star is about being in alignment with your life path. Feeling kind of like that road ahead of you opening up, the clouds clear up and there's this light coming from the sky showing you where you're supposed to be. So I feel like they're making a lot of traction in their life. Things are clearing up for them as well. And so as a result of that, I feel that they might be reassessing the relationship, or there's going to be talks and continuation of, talks about let's move the relationship to the next level, because I feel like this is somebody that you care about. They really inspire you. They bring a lot of newness into your life and you welcome the change, okay? So we have air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, in particular an Aquarius person. In the present situation, we have here the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups basically means for many of you, if you are in a stable relationship, you are with that person that you really love and care about. Not only, like in a physically, sexually attractive way, like being sexually or physically attracted to each other, but you care about the other person because there's stability, there's harmony, there's friendship, there is mutual trust, there's mutual affection for one another. It's like liking somebody, not just loving them, but liking somebody, truly feeling as if they are your soulmate. It's linked up with the Strength card, and the Strength card indicates a lot of mutual attraction. So I feel for many of you, this is a card of Leo here. So many of you might be dealing with a Leo that you are So we have that air sign and a Leo that you are heavily thinking about, wanting to get physical with, feeling like they really understand you on a deep emotional level. They have the same sense of loyalty to family, same sense of loyalty to, the right people. And they have a sense where they're very soothing and nurturing, and there is a lot more emotional connection. So I'm sensing for those of you in a relationship with an Aquarius, you might have some temptation, somebody that you are a little bit more compatible with, which is a fire sign. So possibly a Leo, okay? The foundation of this reading here is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is news, communication, exciting news, communication, possibly being solicited by somebody, just kind of like somebody from the past, somebody out of the blue, or somebody new that you're meeting. And it is a fire sign here, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. In the reverse position, this person can be a little bit like, in the upright, they're very loving, very nurturing. They want everybody to thrive, and they're very egalitarian. In the reverse position, they can be very self-serving. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody that on the surface, there's a lot of chemistry. There seems to be a lot more compatibility. But at the heart of it, they're a little bit more, it's not so much about other people, it's more about me. So they're a little bit more, caught up in themselves, caught up in their work. And I feel as well, they're here today, gone tomorrow, like very, very inconsistent and also temperamental at the same time. I see this element of somebody who might be a little bit possessive of the things that they have, the money that they have, the things that they own. And as a result of it, they're not as willing to share. They're not as forthcoming. They're just not as forthcoming and not as giving. And I feel like they are also holding back a little bit because they might also feel like you're not as forthcoming and as giving as they would like in a relationship partner. So I have an earth sign here that you might be involved with, or I have a person that you might have children with, and you're going to be hearing from them. Okay. In the past position, we have here the Magician and the Seven of Cups. The Magician is the single guy or gal, and usually it's a very masculine energy. But what I'm seeing with this card is many of you are coming into this month single. So you might have recently separated, you might have, broken up with a relationship partner, and you are the bachelor or the bachelorette dating, having the time of your life, not having a lot of committal, like relationships. Even though you're looking for one, I feel like you are looking for one, but you're going to places where you want to be seen and heard. You're very highly stylized. You are dressed up really well, and you're mingling, meeting a lot of people, rubbing elbows with people who might be very financially well off as well, people who might even be famous, people who allow you to kind of like bask in this type of a very luxurious lifestyle. It's linked up with the Seven of Cups, which is notorious. This is in reference to like some type of online dating, meeting new people, communicating, contacting people through online, like social media, and connecting online, and taking a lot of photos is what I'm sensing. So many of you are coming into this month wanting to make a change, wanting to, improve your love life, especially if you are single. And you might have recently met somebody who might be a little bit famous. If it's an air sign, it's somebody famous. Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. If it's a fire sign, it's somebody who is, I feel like there's a lot of chemistry, but you feel almost like, are they liking me for my money? Or are they liking me because what I can do for them? They seem a little bit more self-serving. I feel like you might have been involved with an air sign that treated you really well, that takes care of you on a fundamental level. But emotionally, they're so independent that emotionally there might have been clashes of interest. And then you're meeting somebody else and you're trying to build things, but you feel like there's some things that are missing. So we have here air sign and fire signs heavily in the picture. What's coming through in the future is for those who are juggling they say to release. Okay, the Four of Pentacles is about letting go of control issues, letting go of, like, if you are juggling multiple people, letting go of some choices so that you can narrow down and you can devote your energy and your attention to just one person. And we have as well you feeling a little bit stuck in one place, feeling a little bit stuck, feeling like, I don't know which choice to make, I don't know which option to choose. And I want to warn you, if you are involved here with one person and you are attracted to another and you make a move on it, we have the Tower here, which is the breakdown of a relationship. So be careful about things coming to light. Be careful about getting caught if you are stepping out of the relationship. I also feel as well, if you are involved here with a fire sign, there might be some troublesome news associated with that. And I also feel for many of you, you might be in a relationship with somebody, possibly an air sign or a fire sign, and you're meeting the other sign. And there's a lot of attraction. I feel like you might be in a relationship with an air sign, you're meeting a fire sign, and you don't know what to do. You're caught between a rock and a hard place because you don't know, like, if I were to go ahead, what's going to happen, okay? I feel many of you are heavily thinking about an air sign. You're coming into this month heavily thinking about them. This can also be somebody that you have assets with, children with, and you're trying to make things better. But I also feel like possibly an earth sign, they might have recently met an earth sign, or an earth sign is interfering in your relationship, okay? So I feel like the energy, it doesn't indicate to me like infidelity, but it does indicate to me temptation, a lot of temptation coming through with a fire sign. Very strong temptation. So, take that how you will, but be careful about the way the energy plays out, okay? So, Taurus, I wish you all the best. So, take care of yourself, okay? Be careful with this energy. I'll be back in about 2 weeks for the mid-month reading, and hopefully this energy will kind of work itself out, okay? So, I hope so for your period as well, but I feel like just to be safe, don't do anything you're not supposed to, because Mercury in retrograde period is a notorious time for things to come to light, secrets coming out, people not being as careful and slipping up, okay? So just be careful about that. So I will talk to you guys soon. If you'd like to book an appointment with me, please visit my website. It is listed in the description box below, okay? I'll talk to you guys soon.